Hi, I'm Simon. Not sure whether you know, but there are over 6,000 whiskey distilleries in the world and more than 150 in Scotland alone. Each of them offers various bottlings, starting from a simple age statement up to limited editions released especially for whiskey festivals. When I was at the beginning of my journey, I always struggled to go to the shop and make an informative decision what to buy. So I decided to create that video in which I will explain to you how to choose good bottle for the beginner. And I will give you examples of the best whiskey for beginners. Let's start from the beginning. In my opinion, there are 4 points which whiskey needs to tick to be called the good beginner's whiskey. The number 1 is whiskey needs to be affordable. You don't want to break the bank. Because if you buy very expensive whiskey and you don't like it, you will feel disappointed and you feel like you wasted your money. But also, it can't be too cheap. Because, for example, you buy a cheap whiskey and then maybe you will come across the bottle which wasn't matured enough, and you will feel lots of alcohol, lots of burnt, but not enough flavor. The number 2, whiskey needs to be easy to nose, and this especially is important for the beginners in my opinion, because we whiskey drinkers, we like to nose the glass. We want to spot and smell the flavors. And because of that, I always, when I think about the whiskey for beginners, I recommend the whiskey bottle at 40, maybe 43% of alcohol, not more. If it's more, you will be overwhelmed by alcohol and it will be more difficult to do a proper nosing. So in my opinion, the lower the alcohol, the easier it is for beginners. Of course, you can add water, but in principle, I would always recommend to go for a lower alcohol level. Point number 3, it should be easy to drink. Basically, you need to enjoy it. You need to like it. And here where things get complicated, because whiskies are very different to each other. So the choice will really depend on your preference to the taste. If you would like sweet, fruity and gentle whiskey, you can go for something from a Speyside region. So for example, you might like Benriach, which is very famous distillery from that region, or you can, for example, go for Glenlivet, which also is very nice whiskey for the beginners. If you would like to experience more balanced, slightly richer whiskey, I would recommend you go for whiskey from a Highlands. And here the examples are, for example, Glenmorangie, amazing whiskey, or one of my favorite distilleries, but you probably know already, Tomatin. Those are great examples of the Highland whiskey. If you would like something smooth and friendly, probably you could go for a Japanese whiskey. Here the example is Toki. It's a blended, but that would be a very good example of something friendly and approachable and very smooth. If you want to experience smooth vanilla and spicy whiskey, you should go for a bourbon. And I would probably recommend the Woodward Reserved. It's my favorite bourbon. Unfortunately, I don't have a bottle in my collection. Or perhaps you already know that you are a fan of a peaty whiskey. Then you can, for example, go for a Lafroc. Just buy yourself a simple bottle of Lafroc. Funnily enough, this is the first whiskey which really hooked me into start building my collection of whiskey. And the last point, the number 4, I think every whiskey needs to be able to tell the story, because the drinking whiskey is not just about drinking alone, it's about sharing a moment, being with someone, having a great conversation. So in my opinion, if you buy a bottle of whiskey for beginners, you should be able to tell a little bit of story behind that whiskey. So for example, today I'm drinking Tomatin, which is from Independent Bottling, distilled in 2011, bottled in 2023. So it's a 12 years old. It was released by Gordon's McNafiel, independent bottler. It's part of the Discovery series. It's bottled at the 43%, so perfect for beginners. I really like it. And with something like that, you can already tell a little bit of story. You can maybe encourage or hook someone saying that they're independent bottlers. Something like that. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you like the recommendation, and I hope your next purchase will be amazing and you will not regret. See you next time.